The other thing about the change cycle that I thought was so fascinating is the moment of the chrysalis, because it cannot be avoided. And I was looking at articles and images of the caterpillar, and as often is the case in nature, I don't see one moment when the caterpillar resists entering the cocoon, entering the chrysalis. Now, before we walked through it, in other words, the first time you walk through it, we call that moment the dark night of the soul, right? Oh my gosh. Like, that is tough times when the curtain has been drawn and you're in some darkness. And that's where the helpers come in, because when we're in that dark space, we know now that we have guides and guidance to help us navigate the darkness, that there's the compass, there's the light keeper. But what I want to encourage you to consider and maybe even take some notes about is the profound beauty of the chrysalis, because the chrysalis is prepared for the caterpillar. I mean, you talk about the word sacred. I use that a lot because this whole journey is that. But from this perspective, look at that with me. That when you're being cracked open and your life is being disrupted and you're drifting, you don't know what's happening, and you're experiencing uncertainty and chaos, and you're being asked to have courage and to let go, it's all because something has prepared for you this safe and beautiful room, this safe and purposeful cocoon that you will enter, and where you will be held, where you will be kept in a safe environment, so that the process by which you die to who you were and not yet become who you are about to become, but the literal space that holds the death, is so incredible to me. And I hope for you too, so that the next time you are entering the chrysalis, the next time you're going into the dark night of the soul, you have a sense of reverence. You've got more tools. You've got ritual. You have insight and wisdom. You know what you may need in a way that you didn't the first time. Honestly, if you want to do a deep dive, do it around the chrysalis. And what happens as the caterpillar intentionally spins its own web to create this incredible space for it to die to who it's been, so that it can begin the process of birthing a new version of itself. Incredible. And equally incredible. And again, these are the nuggets of wisdom and intelligence. The in-between is alive with an intelligence that knows. And when you walk through it, you may not get that at all. However, I truly believe that when you get to the end of it and you look back, or you're just doing this right now with me, you're sitting with it, you're deepening your awareness of what you've just come through, you can see how purposeful it is. You can see the divine order that is transformation. Because at some point, when you come out of the chrysalis, you have this incredible moment in which you break through. You break through the wall of the cocoon. Your wings have had enough time to press up against that tight enclosed space. You've been worked over enough. Your muscles have been strengthened so that when the moment comes and that shell, if you look at the picture, it goes from being something you can see to something that you can't see through at all. And then on the final phase, you see through it again. And you've all seen that moment when you can look through the chrysalis because it's clear. And there's the butterfly hanging upside down. And that moment comes when it breaks open. And think about how beautiful that is, that you start, that your first step onto the path of the in-between is being cracked open from the inside out and sometimes from the outside in. Whether it's a medical diagnosis, the ending of a relationship, unexpected firing from your job, there's all sorts of ways that happens. But look at how that works, that you go from being cracked open to having a breakthrough where you are ready and your wings are able to split that now very thin veil that has been holding you in its tightness, wrapping you up in its darkness so that you could do the deep work of change, so that as you emerge and as you begin to walk towards who you are becoming, that you're able to see through that which was dark, that you're able to, because of your own courage and your own strength, and because you've been willing to let go and trust, that now that cocoon splits open and you go from being cracked open to breaking through to the other side. Right? Just so incredible. I am just so moved. And please share in the comments with me. I really want to hear from you, especially if you've walked the path already. What are some of the insights you're having that I haven't talked about yet? How's your experience? What do you think about some of the things I'm talking about? It would be so meaningful to me if you use the comments and tell me what your insights are. What wisdom was revealed to you? Now that you look back at yourself in the change cycle with the perspective of hindsight and having gone through it the first time and now being able to go, all right, I'm settled a little bit. Let me look back and see what the heck that was all about. I would love to hear from you what you're seeing from your perspective of hindsight, now that you're revisiting what your journey was through the change cycle. What do you see now that you couldn't see then? What insight is revealing itself to you now that you weren't available for then? What wisdom is nestled at the center of your beingness that this retrospective viewpoint is now activating and integrating in you as now your own wisdom? It's truly remarkable to me how alive the in-between is. And I truly hope that this new series and these videos in which we are going back together to revisit the areas and kind of tear it apart a little bit, and with your participation, because ideally what I'd love to do is with your comments, come back. Ideally I would love to have something live with you where we could share questions and interact. And I'm trying to learn how that might be something we could do. But until then, the comments are the best place for it. And of course, thank you for subscribing to my new series and my new channel. That's how the channel reaches more people. That's how the content spreads. And I so appreciate your subscription as well as your likes. So thank you so much for tuning in to this brand new series, Recognizing Yourself in the In-Between. Take super good care, and I'll be back.